Hey everyone, it's Veronica from Cherokee Rose Custom Leather. I get asked a lot how I paint my turquoise stones, so today I'm going to show y'all how. I start with a base layer of a light blue on this one and paint each stone this color. Make sure that your color goes on thin because it needs to soak into the fibers of the leather, but I do multiple layers on each one of these stones. And then I come back with a special mix that I make that's just random blues and greens and a little browns and yellows in it. And I just kind of do little squiggly lines all over the stones with some big thicker lines and some small little thin lines. It always helps to have a picture of a piece of turquoise, like a stone beside you or like a squash blossom in this case, so that you can kind of pattern after it. And that's what I do. And then I just turn the piece and work around it. This one's actually a graduation cap topper that I was working on this week. And you just kind of do little squiggly lines. If you look at different turquoise stones, some of them have big, thicker, splotchy spots, and others have very fine, thin lines depending on which turquoise mine they came out of. So when it helps to have an example picture beside you, and I usually use Pinterest for that. And just go around the piece and fill in the different stone pieces. Make each one of them look different, but try to keep overall your pattern consistently because you don't really want to mix different types of turquoise stones in the same piece in the example of this squash blossom. And I come back and just put little dots in here and there and connect the bigger pieces. And I actually use just the plaid paint from Walmart to do this. I just do a lot of very thin multiple lines over it to get the actual color that I want. And you can see each one of them's looking different. And I use a very small paintbrush for this. And you'll just want to go around the entire stone. But if you'll go to Pinterest and just type in like Native American squash blossom or Native American stones, you can find a bunch of examples on there that you can use. And it's really neat. The more stones that you get colored in, it really starts coming to life, and you can really start seeing how the whole jewelry piece is going to look once you're finished. And I don't think I've ever painted two stones that's anywhere even close to being the same, just because there's so much variations in the different types of turquoise. And some stones are purples, some stones are red, some are orange. It's really neat, the whole variety of different colors that you can get whenever you're painting these stones. And you'll just want to move around the entire piece and fill it in and draw the little lines and come back and put little dots. And these pieces are all cut with my swivel knife, and then I come back and bevel them. And I use like a little cedar piece to do the little dots in between. Because I like the little cedar because they've got the little lines in them. And once you put the silver paint in there, it just really makes it look like a real Native American jewelry piece. And I really try to make these look as authentic as I can, because it just really gives a lot of personality to each project I'm working on, like this graduation cap topper. And she wanted a full necklace on there, so that's the rest of the pieces that go around. And then at the bottom, she's got two other like little round oval pieces of turquoise that'll be at the bottom of this cap topper. And I'll post a picture of that the next few days so that y'all can see what the completed piece looks like. And you just turn and move all the way around. And then once I get that painted in, I come back with the silver. And I actually use an Angelus silver paint to do this. I found that makes gives the best coverage for the silver, and I don't have to go over it, 5 or 6 times. I do thin it down just a little bit, or maybe just my bottle's a little extra thick because I've had it for a while, because this is about the only point that I use silver in. But I do thin it down with just a little bit of water in my color palette. whenever I'm painting these. And you just go around it. I think this one probably took 2 or 3 coats. I go around it one way and then I turn the piece and I come back around it the other way. That was a trick I learned from Don Gonzalez, so I didn't have to keep moving the piece around and around and around. But this silver still took about 3 coats to give it the sheen that I wanted, to make it look really, really pretty. And it'll darken up a little bit whenever I put antique on it. But after I get through this part, I'll seal it and make sure that it's sealed real good. I'll do a coat on all of this, since I do use the apple barrel paints from Walmart. Seal it with a coat of Pro Resist and give it about 6 hours, and then I'll come back with a coat of Resin, give it about an hour, and then another coat of Resin, and then I do a full coverage of tan coat. And here's the final piece on the graduation cap topper.